All right. Good day, everyone, wherever you're listening from. My name is Charles Gordon Namde. I'm an appreciator of arts, one who is a professional with arts. I want to welcome all of us to today's virtual arts talk. Here we bring up works that have concepts behind them. Like I've earlier said before, as an artist, someone that practices the art of fashion, the art of photography, and so many other arts, we kind of involve the clients and then engage them, indulge them with what they want. And most of the times they don't really have, they just want something like a birthday shoot or just something that doesn't really have a predefined concept behind it. So, and I enjoy doing it because I enjoy doing what I do, but then to bring complete satisfaction to my personality as an artist, I've decided to set up this virtual art talk forum where I can be creating or bringing up artworks that I've created that are beyond what the clients want. So I bring it up and then I explore it and explain the concept behind it and use it to pass a positive and impactful message across to my world. So that's the purpose of this virtual art talk forum. So I want to welcome you all to today's virtual art talk. Last time we explored a photograph titled Judas' Daughter, where we encouraged women to participate in high income trades and to feel free to explore trades that yield high income liquid trades. And then thanks to everyone that reached out to me to say this is how impactful the talk was, this is what I learned and all that. I really appreciate your review. So today we are going to be exploring a fashion work. The title of today's virtual art talk is Fashioned for Diversity, Bridging Differences and Building Relationships. Tomorrow is going to be the World Day for Cultural Diversity, for dialogue and development. Tomorrow being the 21st of May, shout out to UNESCO for considering this concept of diversity worthy of remembering and giving it a date like tomorrow for us to pay attention to it. So against tomorrow, today we are going to be looking into this concept of diversity. So the work, I'm going to be explaining the work. I guess I have to be sharing my screen with you people when I start. But for those that are not here right now, especially those in the WhatsApp group waiting for the record version, I will also share a link to the post that I made on Instagram concerning the work, so you can look through and view the images that we are using as a reference point to address today's talk. So I'm going to be displaying the work here live, and then I'll be explaining the process, how I got to make it, and then we'll be exploring the lesson behind it. And most importantly, we are going to be inviting our speakers who will help us to also throw more light into this concept of diversity. All right, this is the fashion work that we're going to be exploring. I called it 7 ways senior suit the day I created it. So concerning the work, talking of the process, when I was able to design it, it was 25 months ago. That was in the year 2022, when God has helped me. I've been able to give my time to learning every form of art that I'm passionate about, and I know that over time I will still perfect in those crafts. So that was when I was learning the art of fashion designing. So back then, after doing the part of apprenticeship I did in my locality, and I was made a free student there. So I decided to explore more in fashion world, to expand. So I moved to Lagos, Field of Skills and Dreams Ikeja, to upgrade myself in the world of fashion design. And thank God it was awesome. The experience I had there, it was fine. So then when I was done with the short course I went there to run, I was required to set up to run a project, to defend what we call a final project, to show how creative you've become after the moment you've spent in this school this VTE Academy, how creative it becomes. So it was just time for our project, and then I was thinking of what I will create, you know. So then I decided to, after a long run, I decided to come up with this concept. Having observed the place, I decided to come up with this concept because there was something I observed about the institution. There was something I observed about the system with which they run things there, and I drew inspiration from it. Their tolerance for diversity, I drew inspiration for it, and then I made the project work to be addressing the concept of diversity. So back then, I observed the place. The owner of the school is a Yoruba and a Christian woman, the managing director and the founder of the institution. But then I observed that she employed people of diverse cultures, diverse religion that are different from hers. And they also observed among the students that they were students from all walks of life and they came together. And when you look at the flow, when you observe the flow with which everybody interacted, nobody really paid more attention to where you are coming from, to the rules of their colleagues. Everybody just cooperated and there was love in the institution. It was awesome. In fact, I would say that the experience I had there, these were just some of the remarkable periods when I experienced diversity, people coming together from diverse background and then still living in peace and still, interacting positively. So when I saw this, I really appreciated it about the institution. So I said, wow. Then I decided to now use it as a concept to run my projects back then. So I decided to create this 7-way Senate suit. I created it in a way that a simple Senate suit, but then you can style the front drop in 7 different ways to form 7 different designs. That was what I did back then. So just to add a touch of creativity in it, it took me time. I really had a hard time to navigate through because when the vision came, I had to start praying to God as a Christian for Him to direct me, give me more wisdom and skillfulness to bring it to birth, because I had not seen a fashion designer do something like this before. So I had to do a lot of thinking, I had to do a lot of sketching, and I was able to come up with this. So someone that wears this clothes now, I think we can count it 7 styles in one clothing. Okay, this is 1. So for those of us that are not seeing it right now, those that will listen up later on, I will just drop a link to the post I made with it so you can just view them subsequently. So this is 1, and this is another style 2, this is 3, and this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, and this is the 7th style. Okay, yeah, this the rough sketch I was making back then when I was trying to create it, when I was trying to navigate through the creative process. These are some of the sketches I made and some of the writings I did when I was trying to create the work. So this work is centered on addressing the concept of diversity. Like I said, it took a creative bent from the concept of diversity. So that is why we are using this artwork, this art of fashion designing, as a reflective tool to address the concept of diversity. And as you know that diversity cuts across different things that we can see, stuff like our skin color, our race, our height, our gender, things that we can see with our eyes, and then it extends to things that we cannot see, stuff like our religious beliefs, our cultural beliefs, our interests, and our passion, stuff like that. We are diverse in different ways. So look at this fashion. Anytime you remember this fashion work, you are going to remember everything that we are going to be talking about today with respect to diversity. From this fashion design, you can learn that we were all formed by one designer. In this case, I'm the designer. I'm from the same source, but we come in different ways and styles. Here I designed same material, same clothing, but made it in a way that you can display it in different ways, in different styles, and someone can look at you. You can wear it 7 times in a row, and someone that doesn't really pay attention to details may not even know that it was the same clothing that you wore. The person might think that you just wore 7 different clothes on 7 different occasions, okay? But then that is how we are. We come in different ways and in different styles. Now, bringing it down to we humanity, taking this fashion aspect aside, how does it kind of speak to us? We are human beings, and we are all formed by one designer, in this case God. According to the theory of creation, God formed humans from dust. But then we come in different ways and in different styles. Now, apart from maybe the theory of creation, there are also other theories that also addresses, the origin of human being. Talk of the theory of evolution and certain other theories that kind of explores the origin of human beings. Now, I believe in the theory of creation, and I strongly believe in it. But then maybe you could be the one that believe in the theory of evolution, or maybe you're a kind of someone that doesn't really have a particular, a fixed belief system. But then we all know that all these theories still talk about one thing, that human beings came from a source, that human beings originated from one source. But then in the long run, something came to play in our existence that made us diverse. You can call it climatic factors, genetic factors, and so many other factors that came in over time that made us to be diverse, to be different kinds of people. Okay, so now we as human beings, coming from the same source, we are diverse, and what made us diverse happened over time. But then we can learn to focus on our similarities as human beings, right? And then when we come to relating to what makes us different, we can do that with diplomacy, with respect, with tolerance, and with empathy. We know that what makes us unique, what spells out our uniqueness, is our differences. Without our differences, we as humans may not be able to say that, okay, we are unique. And how can we learn from ourselves if we are not different? So we are coming from the same source. We should always remember that. But then over time, certain things made us to be different. So how do we relate to ourselves? Remember that what we are talking about is how we can bridge our differences and then build relationship with people that are diverse, that are different from us, with diverse kinds of people, with people from all walks of life. I'm going to be bringing in our speakers to help us explore this and throw in lights on how we can relate with people that are different from us. But then before I do that, maybe I might like to point out at maybe few different things that we can also put in consideration when relating to people. We can put in selflessness and the golden rule as a factor that we have to always be considering when relating with people. Selflessness. When you put yourself aside and always think of how someone will feel when you treat the person the way you are treating the person, is going to really make you be kind and to treat the person positively. And if we human beings respond and reciprocate respect, empathy, diplomacy with the respect and empathy that we have been treated with, that means that you are still going to get back the attitude that you gave out to someone. Okay, so when relating with people, always remember to empathize with them, people that are different from you in any way. Like I said, that diversity cuts across different things. Maybe someone of the opposite gender, someone of another religious background and all that. We should also learn to be diplomatic. We should also learn to be respectful and to tolerate our differences. We are humans, and human beings are unique, and human beings are also priceless. You don't gain essence by trampling on another person's rights, or by crumbling another person, or by dealing with another person in an unfair manner. That's not a better way to approach or to relate with those that are different from us. You may think you have an edge over the person that will make you to now take advantage of it and now treat the person in a very, in an unfair way. But then we human beings, life has always taught us that at the end of the day, we will seriously pay for every manner with which we address humans, with which we treat humanity. So when you are unfair to someone, over time you are going to pay the price. Read through history, you will see that everybody that tried to wipe out a race or to treat a people in a very terrible way, everybody paid the price. Everybody paid the price. So when you are kind to humanity, you are still going to reap the goodies that comes with that kind attitude. So let's learn to collaborate with others more than we compete with others. And even when we are competing with others, let it not be a brutal competition. Let it be a competition that encourages innovation, that encourages creativity, that encourages unity. There are certain kinds of competition that when you involve in it, you rather unite a people than cause chaos. And then when it comes to being single-minded, in diversity, like I'm talking about diversity and we are going to be talking about diversity today, your way of relating and seeing from the other side that is different from the point you are standing. Now, when it comes to being single-minded in diversity, I'm not going to now say, okay, in the name of embracing diversity, now encourage those that are terrorists when you are not even a terrorist. No. Now, there's also a place of single-mindedness where you know what you are standing for, especially in the aspects of diversity that has to do with beliefs and our convictions inward. You know what you are standing for and you are sure of it. That's fine. Now, you can be single-minded, but then in your single-mindedness, be ready and be open to listening to others and be ready to give answers to questions that has to do with why do you stand at this point you are standing? Why do you believe this kind of thing that you are believing? Be ready to always defend what you believe in. And then when you are also ready to defend what you believe in, don't be a fanatic. By not being a fanatic, you are kind of open-minded to listen to what another person has to say, to compare it with what you have. Now, if what you have is genuine, this will strengthen your conviction. And then it will also help you to convert the person to your own side, to enlighten the person, okay? But when what you have is not genuine and then you pay attention to what another person comes to bring to you with an open-minded heart. Now, what will happen is that as it is not genuine, you have given yourself a chance to switch paths and to make your life better. So this is me telling you that even in diversity, it's not like I am encouraging that you should now open your hand and embrace anything you see. We know that the world is complex and there are so many false things. There are so many things that are not true, that are not okay, that are not healthy for us, and people are believing in it. Especially when it comes to the belief system in diversity, diverse belief systems, diverse thoughts, diverse school of thoughts on different things. But then let us be sure of what we are standing for and also to appreciate it. But then let us not be fanatics. Let us be such people that will always listen to what another person has to say. And then if we are sure of what we are standing for, pass our message across. It will also help those people that you think that are getting it wrong to see from your own light and to embrace it. And if you're actually the one getting it wrong, it will now be a source of redemption to you, whereby on embracing or on discovering a better thought system, a better thought pattern than what you are holding, you can switch paths. So be open-minded in your single-mindedness. That is what makes you healthy and not a fanatic. So today we are going to be bringing up our speakers who will be helping us to explore this concept of diversity more. I'm very privileged to have them all in this platform to join us in this virtual art talk. We have Ms. Deborah, who is joining us from Cyprus. We have Mr. Prince, who is joining us from the United States of America. We have Ms. Ella, who is joining us from Ebonyi State, Nigeria. We have Ms. Grace Michael, who is joining us from Enugu State. And my humble self, local man, I am joining and streaming live and direct from Lagos, Nigeria. So I want to say welcome to our speakers who are listening to us. So Ms. Deborah, I want to say welcome to you. Hmm. So you can introduce yourself to us and tell us who you are, what you do, blah blah blah.
Okay, my name is Odunukui Deborah. I base in Cyprus. I'm I'm a registered nurse and also a studentpreneur. I own a business here in Cyprus where I bake cakes and I make other pastries.
Wow. Madam, you're not a small person. Oh. You know the small person. Oh. Wow, Nigerian talk here. Wow, I'm very happy to have you in this platform.
I'm happy to be here to
And
speak with you guys too.
yes, thank you very much. So, seem like today we are reflecting on the concept of diversity. Like we are talking of maybe the things that makes us different. Is there anything you've
Yes.
learned from the culture and lifestyle of the people over there that is interesting? Something that maybe we listeners, especially in Africa, might have to learn from.
There are a lot of interesting things that I've learned being in a new country. Everyone is going to agree with me that relocating to a new country is a huge step and a huge change. We get to move from our friends, our family, and things that we are accustomed to. Get to learn a new culture, sometimes religion. Basically, it's a new challenge. As I said, I live in North Cyprus where their first language is Turkish. Some of them even get to speak Arabic, and it's very hard for you to communicate with them. So, getting to learn any or both language, like whereby you get to learn Turkish or you get to learn Arabic, it's like an added advantage in terms of communication for both business and otherwise. Because wanting to socialize or make new friends outside your tribe, you have to learn their language to be able to communicate effectively with them and all of that. Getting to try new delicacies too, different from the regular Nigerian dishes, because we're outside now, so the restaurants here they don't make like our Nigerian food. So you try new things and connecting with individuals from diverse backgrounds and worldwide. You get to meet new people and learn different things. Those are basically the different ways I've learned some things being outside the country.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. That means that, in cutting across barriers, when you want to relate with people that are different from you, that means that one of the things you
Yes.
have to pay attention to is their language. Even if it's
Yes.
good morning that you learned how to say, keep on saying it and it will kind of attract them to you, right?
Yeah, even if it's the basics. Like me, I don't speak Turkish fluently, but I know like the basic language, the basic things like good morning. Even when you go to the supermarket, you have to know like the basic ones so that you can be able to communicate with them. Else, you want to use Google Translator, and most of them won't even entertain you or look at your phone and all of that. A situation where a nurse is working in the hospital, like a Cyprus owned hospital, your patients, most of the patients you get to encounter are Turkish. So walking into the world, like the hospital world, and there's a sick patient, being unable to understand what is happening to him or her first is the problem. You can't even recommend whatever you can't even communicate to pass the information or for him or her to tell you how he feels when you want to take like do morning routine, check the BP. You can't say anything unless you know how to communicate in Turkish. At least the base is Miraba, Narcissin, how do you feel? Okay. So it's also the language. You have to learn the language.
Well, from what you've said now, in fact, personally, I've learned that, for example, I'm in Lagos State, a Yoruba speaking state in the
Mm-hmm.
Yoruba land, mm, and I speak Igbo. But at
Okay.
least I try to greet with a car. And when they want to extend it to other talk, I'll just say, Madam, na here why Sabi, na here why stuff. I know Sabi other ones again. but then it kind of builds connection with them because my trying to speak to mimic their language gives a sense that I appreciate their language and that it is something that I am willing to be able to learn if I get the opportunity to learn it. So thank you,
Yeah,
and
it's
you've
an
been,
added advantage where you get to learn new language.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, Miss Deborah. And
You're
concerning the delicacy stuff, I'm able to adapt to
Yeah.
their dishes over there because I know that over time, here that we are used to fufu, we are used to apple, we are used to gare and stuff like that, yam. And then when you
Some
get there, I know that you have this kind of challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult at first. Like for me, even till now, I've not really been able to adjust, but I try new foods. But you can also find like the African delicacy and all, but it's going to take time. For someone who is new, you don't know your way around to the African stores and they are more expensive and all of that. But trying out their food is also good. Like if you go to a restaurant, there's no way you can see like African food there. It's there's no way. You have to try something new in the restaurant. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for this contribution. I will definitely be getting back to you because I can see you have stuff that you can help us, you can reveal to us with respect to diversity. So thank you very much. I'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible, man.
Okay. So thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, Miss Ella, are you around? Miss Ella, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Boss, I agree to.
You know, the mean is your character here.
I know, so I get back around, but I beg. You still be my boss. This house you don't correct me now. Make I day. Make I just compose.
Yes, more no drag ourselves outside.
Very good. Yeah,
Good
but wow,
afternoon.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Can you please
Thank
let
you for
us know who
having
you
me.
are? Yes, ma'am. It's
Okay,
my pleasure.
my name is Ella Okoro. I am a sales funnel copywriter and digital marketer. Basically, what I do in a nutshell is help businesses increase their reach and their sales, making more money for themselves. Okay, I work with small businesses, both home and abroad. That is basically what I do.
Oh wow. Wow, nice having you here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Mm. Like, how do you personally define this concept of diversity? Apart from the fashion work, like, how do you personally define diversity? Let me hear from your own perspective.
Okay, so diversity is a very interesting topic to me, and I like the exhibition. It really gave me a lot of insight to the main concept of diversity. All right, for me, I'll define diversity as the spice of life. All right, I know that people would say variety, but I'll say diversity because if you look at it, diversity is what makes life and relationships interesting, rich, and beautiful. All right. Um, just take a second to imagine how boring life would be if everybody came from the same background, had the same life experiences, had the same perspectives, probably the same beliefs. It would be very, very, very boring. All right. And that is to show you that because we are diverse in our beliefs, in our experiences, in our perspectives, coming together, it makes life interesting, it makes life rich, it makes life beautiful. This is the reason why people would want to have vacations, travel, to experience the culture, to experience the background, to experience the culture of others. Because if you look at it, it's what makes life beautiful. Okay, the diverse cultures, the perspectives, it makes our community at large very beautiful, very interesting, very rich. Okay, and so instead of seeing diversity as a threat, we should embrace it because we are enjoying life today because we are diverse. And like you said, when you exhibited the fashion work, we are from the same creator, but he just made us differently. God is the ultimate artist. We come from one source, but he designed us to be different because he looked at it and he knew that if I make these people the same, I mean, it's going to be very boring, and that was why the happening at the Tower of Babel was very, 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 very interesting. So I'll just define diversity basically as the spice of life. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Something very remarkable with what you said now about what you said now. Diversity is a spice of life. Like, that is what really makes life interesting. I really get your point, and it's a very striking point here. And when you made reference to a biblical record about the Tower of Babel, where God had to, yes, when you are tracing one of the things that made us diverse in this world, I think that's the happening of that Tower of Babel, according to the Bible, is one of the key factors that made us diverse. And I think it was a very necessary experience for us, for we humans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very much, man. So, can you like maybe share a time? Is there any time where you are maybe able to successfully, like you said, in your business or your lifestyle or anything, where was there any time you were able to successfully bridge differences with someone, maybe someone from a different background, get that kind of stuff, and then relate properly with the person? Seeing that we're also talking of how we can bridge differences and build relationship with people that are different from us.
Oh yes, I remember one. That was in 2018, I guess. Yeah, 2018, and I was doing my A-level program. So you know how you run IGMB and GPEP. I had written JAM, and I did not get admission. So my mom was like, "Why don't you just go do this A-level program?" So I did the program in a university in Olu. And then I went to Olu, and on getting there were other students in the school, obviously, and I think we came a bit late. So getting to know everybody, I realized that there was an Igbo boy who was a Muslim, and that was very new to me. That was like very, I don't know, just very new. You know that Igbos, we are seen as Jews, and our primary our religion is Christianity. Okay. But imagine seeing an Igbo person who is Muslim, and coming from the place or the mindset at home where everybody used to look at these Muslim guys as what's the word? As basically it's called is it called Islamophobia or something like that, where you just see somebody who is an Islam and you're just scared of them because of the killings and the happenings, in the north and all of that. So I was coming from a place where people would say a lot of things about these guys, and as a child, I was just barely 16 at the time. I was absorbing all of these things from the adults around and the society that I was living in at the time, the environment, okay, and what they used to say about these people. Now I got to school, and when they said, "Oh, he's a Muslim but he's Igbo," I was like, "Yo, those people are those people are wicked." Like, that was what I just blotted out immediately. And then the people around looked at me and laughed, and they were like, "Don't let his best friend hear that." Okay. And I was like, "Who is his best friend?" His best friend happened to be an Igbo girl too. And it was very interesting to me because I was like, why is it that you people are not scared? I just became scared of this guy just because they just told me that he was Muslim. I did not even remember the fact that he is an Igbo brother to relate to him, from that standpoint. I just thought about the fact that, oh, he's a Muslim and that is it. But then as time went on, I realized that the way people were relating with him, in fact, he was nothing compared to all of the stories that we hear in the news and all of that. And I knew that I started getting close to him, saw how people related with him, and I was like, actually, he doesn't bite, right? He doesn't bite. So I got close, got talking, and it was interesting because we became very close friends later on in school. Very, very close friends. and he told me the story of how they became Muslims, dated back to like his grandfather, and how they became Muslims. And I realized that all of the stereotypes and all of the instant rejection, you just see somebody who is from a particular tribe or religion and you're already building a wall. That was the first experience I had with diversity, breaking my walls down and getting to accept somebody who was similar to me in a way but different in terms of my religion and my belief. All right, so I that was like the first time or the first experience I had with diversity and acceptance.
Oh, wow. Interesting story here. In fact, with what you told me now, or with what you've told us now, we're able to break what we can call religious boundary,
Yeah.
to cut across to relate with the guy eventually. And I think it's something that we also have to learn from, when you get to a workspace, when you get to, you know, like in the secular space, you are going to meet people from different religious background. Then you don't let maybe the stereotype or maybe the common story you've had about these people to affect your relationship with the person. Sometimes it's good to, even when naturally you feel scared, but then it is still good to observe and to find a
Yeah.
way to get closer. And in the long run, you're going to learn something that you will be forever grateful that you've learned. So thank you very much for this input you made now. I think the listeners will also have to learn from it. I personally have learned from it. Like I said back then, I think it was in my primary school that I related with Muslims, and then all through my secondary school, we all had Christianity, all my classmates,
Yeah.
as one common factor that was holding us. And then after my secondary school, subsequently, like I mentioned during my vocational studies, I also got to relate with Muslims. In fact, Mr. Ismail, back then, my direct facilitator was a Muslim, and we were friends. So this stuff that you've told me now will also make me to possibly look into the way I relate with others, maybe say a traditional worshipper or maybe someone from another a different religious background whenever I get to work with the person in the secular space. So thank you very much, man. I will definitely get back to you.
Thank you.
Miss Deborah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Like I said, thank you for your previous input. I really benefited from it, and I believe that the listeners also benefited from it. You talked about your business, that
Yeah.
you are a registered nurse or more. That idea of being a registered nurse, that one that good mind on its own, and jokes apart, the career I think is a very humanitarian career where you get to minister to the sick. So I really appreciate it when I hear someone being a nurse. Okay, but aside that, you're also running a personal business. Okay, the last time we talked about Judas' daughter encouraging women to explore high income trade, and then this is one of the things we talked about, trying to broaden your horizon and trying to extract the economic possibility in everything you are doing. So I was really excited when you told me about you, aside your nursing career, also floating your business there. I know that it is something that is common with our women, and I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate you for that. So talking about your business and your career and also your education, because these are the three things you talked about. Talked
Yeah.
about a studentpreneur, talked about your career as a registered nurse, and then talked about your business. Now, in exploring these three endeavors, has factors like in diversity, maybe factors like racism, gender, religion affected you in any way in your, maybe say, getting to sell to your clients?
Actually, yes. Language is one of the major problem here in terms of my business, because our university they teach us in English language, but almost every other place outside the school premises, you need to know how to speak Turkish. And as a baker, most of my customers are Africans. So it's very easy for me to communicate with them and build a business relationship and all those things with them. Then the Turkish people, they don't get to patronize me because of the kind of cakes that, like, they don't eat our kind of cakes in terms of the texture and in terms of the taste. They have their own way of baking and the kind of cakes they like. So I try my best. I try as much as possible to lay my hands on as much Africans as I can, so that I can thrive. As I'm not the only baker in Cyprus, I'm literally not like the only one. There are other African bakers, some from Zim, some from Congo, some from South Africa, but they're all Africans. So I try my best when I go to school, when I go to the church. I try my best to tell people, put myself out there. This is what I do, and this is it. So with that, I'm able to thrive in my business, and I can say, like, not to brag or anything, like, I've really gone far in this business in Cyprus. Looking back at where I started years ago, right now I'm one of the biggest brands, African brands in Cyprus, as baking brands in Cyprus. Then again, race can be said to be another factor. Considering that we are blacks, they have very high level of racism in this place, and they give preferential treatments to their people. It's something I've learned over the years, and I've come in terms with it. I really don't expect too much from them. Like, I rather go to my fellow African or my fellow black person to request for something or ask for favors. Because, for example, if I and a white person, we enter an official office, they are going to listen to whatever his or her needs are first before myself. They can even reject me, and just their level of racism is very high, and they take preferential treatment to their people. Then when it comes to religion, in North Cyprus is a Muslim country, and Nigerians and Africans who are Muslim, they don't find it very difficult to blend in. They blend in very well, considering that it's a Muslim country, because they already have like their mosque and everything, which is very easy for them to just go into the mosque and fellowship and all of those things. And they obey the rules of the Muslims here, where you have Bayram holidays and all that. But things like Christmas in this place, they don't even respect it. You literally can have an exam on Christmas Day, because they don't know what Christianity is over here. But trying to bridge it, we the Africans, we come together to build our fellowships, so that we can be having our fellowships from time to time. Like on Sunday, there are different churches here, Redeemed, our church, the Watchman. They have like the churches here, and they respect our decisions, so long as we respect theirs. So long as we don't meddle in their business. When it comes to religion, they don't meddle in our businesses as well. So that's the challenges I've had, that are the language, the racism, and the religion. But I've found a way to cut across the three major challenges, especially when it comes to language barrier in my business. And if ever I have to do business with a Turkish person, I just pick the basic language I know, like the minimal ones. And when it's very difficult, you just use a Google Translator to bypass it. And that's it.
Oh, wow. So I can pick points from what you said now. In business, as an entrepreneur over there in Turkey, because of you talked about the taste, the special taste that the Turkish citizens and those that are living there in Cyprus have, you decided to streamline your pattern, your own style of baking, to just focus on Africans that are there. Then you decided to maybe build your own brand, to become strong so that your customer base will be strictly focused on Africans that reside there, and it has given you an edge. That means that you use this as a strategy, understanding the differences and diversity that is operational in Cyprus. You decided now to focus on a given niche that addresses or maybe provides for the need of a given people, the Africans that are there. And that is one of the
Yeah,
ways you are able to thrive in your business.
exactly.
Yeah. And then I saw the wisdom you also used in which someone can adopt. Now, you, as a Muslim, as a Christian who reside in Cyprus, now you talked about racism and how it is high there. But then
Yeah.
imagine that, but then religion can be a binding factor. For example, an African who is a Muslim can fare better in Cyprus if
Yes,
he or she,
absolutely.
yeah, if he or she maybe identifies with Islamism over there. So maybe if I put it this way, you are a Christian baker there, and then you decided to carve out your niche this way, and you are thriving in it. And I really appreciate what you said, that you are one of the biggest name in your brand, in your niche. More grace, man. Now
Thank you very much, sir.
that means that an Islamic African can now bridge this gap in another way, in a different way, to also relate better with them and to also carve out a different niche for himself, where he will, as he has identified maybe as a Muslim over there, might now introduce his or her business to the religious body which he belongs, and from there the person might be able to introduce the business and learn their pattern. I know that your reason for not baking their type is not that you can't learn it. I believe you can learn it. But then your reason for not baking their type is because you have considered the market and you have decided what will move better for you and where you will
Yeah.
thrive in. That means an African and an Islamic resident in Cyprus can possibly consider learning their style and then baking for them, and the person can thrive, now using religion as a strategy to explore or to cut across the normal racism barrier and now
Yeah.
thrive in his business over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. And then there's something you said about mutual respect, which I also like, and which I believe that our listeners will also learn from. Mutual respect, where the Christians don't meddle with the activities of the Muslims, and the Muslims over there don't also interfere with the activities of the Christians. With that, a Christian can say, okay, I'm not convinced about your religion, but I give you your respect. And then the Muslims also reciprocating the same respect. I am not yet convinced about your religion, but I give you the respect. So I'm not going to come to interrupt you in your worship place. That's also another remarkable thing that I think is very interesting in what you told me. But then, well, personally, I think that over there they can do better. But that will be subsequently when, especially in the area of racism, I just pray that God will help us, that the world will become a better place with respect to our tolerance to people of different race. I know that in Nigeria, racism is not a problem, but in the white man's land, racism is always a factor. But I believe that maybe, well, I don't know. Do you think education will play a good role in promoting understanding and acceptance of diversity with respect to racism?
I don't know per se in respect to racism, but education plays a very crucial role in promoting understanding and acceptance of diversity, because education encourages critical thinking. It enables the students to analyze and question discrimination and assumption. Like if a student is ignorant of somebody discriminating him or her, she or he is going to take it as a normal way of life. But when you know that these people are racist, we can protest, because there are some times where we African students come out to protest against racism or stuff like that. So we all have rights. So education enables us to know the rights and privileges we have, even as international students studying in another country. And by teaching the values of diversity and the skills needed to navigate the multicultural world, education helps build a more cohesive and harmonious society, prepares students to work and live in diverse environments. Education also exposes students to different cultures, helping them to appreciate the richness of human diversity and fostering empathy towards people from different backgrounds. Because here, I've had the opportunity to be friends with people from different places, like South Africans, Tanzanians. You get to learn different ways to cope with them, because we Nigerians, we are different from other tribes and other nationalities. So you just have, through education, you just have to adapt to those things.
Yeah, I agree with you. Education is going to do a lot, even though it is not going to perfectly heal it, but then education is going to make a very impactful contribution. Yeah, so thank you very much, man. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. Like, I'm seriously feeling your presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've heard what Miss Deborah said. I don't know if there's any striking thing you might want to add up to it.
Okay, so when it comes to handling diversity, basically, there are things that, you don't just start curing a disease by, I don't know how did they even say it? Odunque Deborah is a nurse, but I know that when someone is sick and you see the symptoms, you have to carry out a test and know what the root cause of the problem is, so you know what to treat exactly, right? Now, the thing with diversity is that a lot of people don't even know that diversity exists in different forms, right? It covers a wide range of characteristics. So there's race and ethnicity, then there's gender, then there's age and generation. This is something that if you come to a place like Nigeria now, where we have the Gen Zs and the older generation, there is a huge gap. There is a very huge gap, when it comes to diversity. All right, that is one thing that people are not even paying attention to. Then there's religion. Then there is ability and disability. So people who are disabled and people who do not have any disability in any form. These are all forms of diversity, right? Educational level, and background. It's really wide. Now, before you even start thinking of how to come at diversity, the first step is to look at a human being, look at whoever it is who might have a different skin color, from yours, or speaks a different language, or practices a different religion, or just has a different way of life. The first step is to recognize and look at them as unique individuals. That is, I feel like if all human beings, everybody basically, would keep this at the back of their mind, appreciate human beings. In fact, it starts from where you talked about, like where you were exhibiting your fashion and your fashion work, and you talked about how all of us come from one source, which is God, and God made us in different ways, different colors, different tongues, different cultures, right? If first we have the fear of God in us, okay, and we appreciate the Creator, there is no how we will not appreciate His creation. That is it. If we appreciate the Creator and we know that the all-wise, all-knowing God made this person, made me, He made me black, but He's also the person who made this other person white. And like I said when I first spoke, the Tower of Babel was the first place where diversity happened. In fact, it was God's idea that diversity should happen, right? And God did that, and the culture He gave you, the tongue He gave you, the experiences He gave you, the background He gave you, He also gave this person their own culture and religion and whatever. If we can look at God, appreciate the fabric, like your fashion work, appreciate the material, then you would definitely appreciate the creation. All right, you appreciate whatever that, whatever was made from it. No matter how it looks, it will be appreciated. All right. So when we first see these people, instead of listening to what they're saying and just sitting down there and you're like, nah, this person is talking nonsense, because it's something that you've not heard before, or they're saying something that is new to you. Instead of sitting down there and just like you said when you were talking, I took notes when you were talking, and you said be open-minded. All right. Instead of you to be open-minded, appreciate this fact. In fact, be inquisitive. Appreciate the fact that, oh, somebody is coming at this thing from a different point of view, from a different perspective, with different experiences. When you can appreciate that, that is the first step to curbing diversity. Okay, that is the very first step to curbing diversity. Now, when we can be able to do this and appreciate people's experiences, and maybe even, you might not want to try out everything, but if it's not harmful, like thank God said, you can be open-minded, all right, to maybe want to try it out. Like, there are some practices that probably people do that is not harmful, doesn't go against your belief. It's just you trying to see things from a different perspective. You can do that. It's not like anything crazy. It's just like Odukwe Deborah was talking about language. You go to a new place, you see that they are speaking a different language, and the thing about it is, once they see you try to speak their language, they get excited. They want to hear from you. They want to relate with you, because even though you might come from a different place, you're making efforts to want to speak their language. That is part of it. That is appreciating their language, their culture enough to want to try it out. And these are the things that will make that will make them want to accept you, even though you're from a different place. Now, when we have this appreciation for the uniqueness of each human being, of each race, each background, then the first step of active listening and showing empathy can come in. You cannot show empathy, or you cannot even listen to something that you do not appreciate. All right. And then when you now listen actively and you show empathy for them, for their background, for their experiences, you know that there are people who have cultures that was born out of a place of pain. Like, if you take it back to the days of the slave trade, there were a lot of cultures, a lot of protective measures that were born out of the things that were done to their forefathers, and today it has become culture to them. So you cannot just discredit people's background, people's story, because it is new to you. You show empathy for them, you listen to them, okay, and that way we can curb the problem of diversity. Now, when Odinque also talked about, let me know, please, can you hear me? Can you still hear me? My network is shaky. Okay. Now, when she talked about education, the thing with education is that education plays a very, very big role for everything. All right. It plays a very big role for everything. And one thing that it really does help is it helps us to understand that sometimes our brains make decisions without us even realizing it. It's called unconscious bias training. So I was talking to this friend of mine who's a Yoruba guy, and he said, I really like Igbo women, and I want to marry an Igbo woman, but I was trained to believe that Igbo people are bad. You shouldn't have anything to do with them. Now, when he sees an Igbo person, unconsciously, he just makes that decision to pull away from them until they have proven to him beyond every reasonable doubt that they are not out to harm him. Okay, now we need to begin to train ourselves, our society, parents teaching children, handing down these biases to them. It's an education problem. You are educating them wrongly. We need to correct these things from the roots. So all of these things, the Igbo man is out for you, he's a betrayer, he will take your money, all of those things are wrong, man. I don't know where people just make these biases from. And even as Igbos, I remember that I used to live in Lagos as a child. I think I lived in Lagos for 4 years because my dad used to work there. And one of the things that we heard was like, Yoruba people are dirty. These things are biases, because you cannot just come out and say somebody is dirty. Now, you know that unconsciously you see a Yoruba person or you see an Igbo person, and these biases are playing out. You need to teach yourself to recognize, when these things are happening and to stop yourself. And like she also said, racism or all of these things happen in different ways that you might not even have experienced. Right now, you need to teach people to know when somebody is making a derogatory speech, against you, against your race, and to stand up for yourself, stand against it, and correct the person. All right. So we just need to learn to treat everybody with respect, treat everybody as human beings with their own rights, and that would help. I think that would be a huge step in bridging the gap that diversity has caused. Yeah, so that is what I have to say about that.
Wow. Thank you very much, man. In fact, you kind of wrapped it up, and we are going home with a very big package. Like, thank you very much for this, your input. All right. Thank you very much for joining me, Miss Ella, Miss Odwe. I really appreciate, at least for this session, we have been able to do a reasonable justice to this concept of diversity. I really appreciate you all.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, I would they come in and see them. Destiny help us where they like when I wait. I beg. I'm even coming so even cut so for me because more like seriously, I sense high level of wisdom in you, and I really appreciate. In fact, today I've learned something very remarkable from the two of you, and I really appreciate that you made that time to join us in this discourse. God bless you, man.
Amen. Amen. My boss. Amen.
Okay, so this brings us to a pause, a short break, for this session. Next, we are going to be having Mr. Prince of Ba will be joining us from the United States, in this conversation, and also I'm going to be having Miss Grace Michael is also going to join us. So, but meanwhile, we are going to take a pause now. So I want to say thank you all for listening through to this point. We are going to be bringing up many more topics, okay, in this virtual art talk forum, where we'll be exploring important stuff, cutting across religion, cutting across the secular world, cutting across different stuff, business, entrepreneurship, life, relationship, and career. Okay, so I'm encouraging you to join us in this channel so that should anyone come, you look at it, and if you're interested to listen up, you can always listen up. I believe that as you join us in this channel, you are going to eventually like art, especially that side of art that speaks meaning to humans. So thank you very much. I really appreciate. See you next time. Bye. All right. I want to say welcome to the second session of this virtual art talk, Fashion for Diversity. So here we have Mr. Prince Oba, who is joining us from the United States of America, going to join us in this second session. And then in this second session, we also have Miss Grace Michael, who is also joining us streaming from Enugu, Nigeria, and my almost self be joining from Lagos, Nigeria to flow along with them. So we have here right now on ground Mr. Oba Prince. So I want to say welcome to you, sir, and you can please do well to introduce yourself to us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. My name is Oba Prince Emmanuel Herbert. I'm from Imo State. Right now, I'm living in the United States, and I'm a nurse.
Yeah, nice having you here, sir.
Thank you.
So, we've been talking about the concept of diversity. You've listened through to what we've said in the past, but I want to know, like, from your own perspective, like, how do you see this concept of diversity?
Diversity. For me, I see it as like the understanding and identifying that we all possess very unique differences. Unique differences. Mindsets, cultural differences, um, skin color, gender. We all possess differences, and which needs fostering, and togetherness. And when you bring all these things together, making sure like you can get as much people with all these differences together in one place. That's diversity. You can get them together in one place, and they can bring out their unique attributes, which make like things that make them unique. If they can bring it into that room, yeah, that's you have created diversity. That's for me. That's what diversity. I feel diversity is.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about when introducing yourself, you pointed out that you are from Imo State, that's Nigeria, that means that you're a Nigerian.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
Nigeria.
but then you reside in America, that means you are an African who reside in America,
Yeah.
and then you're also a male, okay?
Yeah.
You also talked about your profession as a nurse.
Yes.
That means I can put it this way, you're a black male nurse working in the United States of America.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So now let's take it this way. You know that over there in the United States, I know that there is this factor of racism that is, functional there, which we in this part of the world we are not experiencing it. But those of you there are experiencing it, racism. And then, but you're a black, and the racism factor affects the blacks. In fact, they are the ones that are feeling the greater heat of it. That's why they are. I've heard of protests like Black Lives Matters and all that. Okay, but then what I'm trying to point out is that you're a black nurse in America, and then you are a male nurse in America. There's this other thing that I know about nursing career. Nursing career, we normally, especially we in this part of the world, we see it as majority maybe a career of females, a career that is dominated by females. So when you say I need a nurse, or a nurse is coming to visit us today, in fact, what you be having in mind, yeah, a woman is coming. Yes. So that means that in your life you are cutting across two barriers in diversity, racism and gender, in becoming in living the life that you want, in becoming successful in your career. So I would like you to maybe throw a light. How are you able to cut across the barrier of gender, one barrier, and the barrier of race in your successful workflow?
Yeah, that's a good question. This country's United States, there's so much racism, prejudice, all that, and also being black and then being male at the same time makes everything just worse. Because as a black guy and one who also happens to be a bit, on the bigger side, you're seen as a like a predator, like you're seen as someone that's like dangerous, a super predator. Even politicians have even used that word before. You're seen as somebody that's very dangerous. So like that prejudice is there. That fear is there. So those having all that, it can be very difficult and challenging. So getting into my career, it's very female dominated, and it still is very female dominated, because in my class we only had only two men in a class of almost 30 people, only two men, and we all happen to be two black guys. So we helped each other and everything, and we both graduated from the nursing school. It wasn't really that easy. And then coming into the professional world, the working world, it kind of got worse, because all your people, everybody you're working with, colleagues, everybody is either a white woman or like a black lady, and they're the ones interviewing you, they're the ones making sure you are the right fit, all these things. So you also have to go through their own preconceived notions of the kind of person you are, because of your gender and your race. So that wasn't also easy. Well, my clients, my patients, okay, they kind of made it better for me because everyone wanted the male nurse. They liked the male nurse, especially the female patients, the older ones. And I tend to work with older people. In my last job, it was mostly older people, so they really made it easy for me. Because like right now, I just switched to pediatrics, so the kids, they don't really even know who their nurse is. But the older people I used to work with, they made it easier for me. But when I encountered the most prejudice, honestly, would be when, like, right now in my present job, that I would take my one of my patients, because I don't work in the hospital. So I would take one of these children to the hospital to, like, for their appointments and everything. And I would be asked so many questions. They'd be like, "Are you a nurse?" Because I don't really dress as like a traditional nurse. I would have a shirt on, then maybe scrub, trouser scrub, down here. So if I don't tell you, I won't really present as a nurse like that. So asking so many questions, and those people, many times, the people asking me all these questions are even black themselves. They are even black themselves, to show you that even as a black person, like your own people still have like this view of the kind of person you are, without even like giving you a chance. So they will ask me so many questions. They will call the patient's mom, confirm here, confirm that, before they even let me go in with the patient, which doesn't happen with my female colleagues. So that's that. Also, you also have to deal with, like, okay, when I do some home visits, I would be really careful walking up to their door, especially for the first time. When they don't know me, I usually make sure I'm careful walking up to their door. I'll call them first. Even in their neighborhoods, especially for white people, it's not really that easy, because you can get shot, especially as a black guy. They see you walking up to their door, they'll think, oh, he's coming here to steal. So you have to be, very careful. All these things. It's not been really easy, but you learn to overcome and cut across all those notions and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much for your input. I really appreciate.
You're welcome.
Yeah. There's something you pointed out that, when we that are here, we might be thinking that the issue with the blacks, that it is the whites that are 100% the contributors to it. But now you pointed out that even there is this kind of image that even the blacks have of their fellow blacks.
Yes.
That means that the issue with diversity and the challenges we have in diversity is not really only a race thing, but also a mentality thing. The mental picture that that people just have over someone else, and it kind of streamlines their judgments. They don't give benefit of doubt easily unless you take out time to convince them of who you are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that mentality thing. That's why we talk about diversity a lot, especially even here in the US. Almost every major company, agency, hospital, like, have a diversity department, because everybody, there's a very big push to for diversity here right now, because they have seen a need for it. Just like you said, this mindset thing. It comes up in a place where there is no diversity. If people have, had the opportunity to work with a lot of black male nurses, that prejudice would be down a little bit. They can give you that benefit of the doubt because they have worked in spaces with black male nurses. So that's the thing. That's the thing. If we can get more diversity in place for in everywhere, it will help. It will help very much in changing people's preconceived biases. You know, that's why we really need diversity in like everything. It changes so many things. It changes so many things.
I would also like to maybe tell you to be careful. Like you pointed out that some people can just be approaching their doorstep and you get shot.
Yeah, it's happened a lot. Yeah,
well,
a lot with black men. With black men, even the latest one that happened, the boy was in this white neighborhood looking for his brother. He didn't know like the main house, so he walked to a wrong house, knocked on the door, and just the door was opened and he got shot in the head out of nowhere. No one even asked him, "Oh, who are you? Who are you looking for?" All these things. He just got shot. Immediately the door opened, but thank God he managed to survive it. So it has happened a lot, like a whole lot.
Well,
you can walk to the wrong door and get shot.
Well, you have to be careful, my friend, seriously, because I don't want to hear this kind of story with you. I don't know that God will protect you always over there.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And you pointed that the efforts that the people over there are making across industries, across companies to address the concept of diversity, where there are departments and there are sessions where they promote diversity, proper acceptability of diversity. Yeah. Yes. So from this, well, that's the way of educating people, okay? And can you maybe, but apart from, we are looking at diversity and, what makes us different. Lastly, you've pointed that with the story you've shared that people are not taking it serious, departments and companies are taking it serious. That means that education is one of the tools they are using as, to promote people's positive view in diversity. Now, talking of we ourselves, maybe the blacks over there, is there any positive, looking at the lifestyle of the people over there, is there any possible positive something you might have seen in their lifestyle that we Africans, can as well learn from?
For me, I would say dignity in labor and also timeliness. Dignity of labor and timeliness. Because we Africans, we really tend to keep to our African time. We never shop early for anything. We never shop early for anything. We don't keep to our time. Yeah, so I think that's a lifestyle we should really try to emulate. Also get in tune with, timeliness, keeping to when we say, okay, this time is the time for this, you make it there at that time, not coming 4 hours or 8 hours later, Also, like dignity of labor, like I said, everybody, any job you're doing, you should respect the people in that job. There is dignity in that job. As far as it provides for you and your family, there is dignity in it, and everybody has like a part to play in society. We can't all be doctors, engineers, business, high class businessmen, all this. Like, we can't all be that. Everyone has their part to play, and because you recognize that fact that everyone has their part to play, you need to give them that respect and dignity. So that's really for me those few things that I feel like we should really learn from there, the kind of ideas we should really get from this society.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate dignity in our labor, And then, most remarkably, the African time factor.
Yeah,
Like
sorry.
for this side now, how far where the party go hold? Now by 10:30. Okay,
Yeah,
now by 10:30, that's when we will be waking up to go to the
to
bathroom to do that
shower,
part.
that's not good, and it's cut across. It's like cut across so many things because it affects productivity. It affects so many things.
Wow.
That's not okay. Time is money. Time is money, and in this place, especially here in the United States, like that, we recognize that time is money. Every minute counts for something. So you just can't
Hmm.
be wasting it thinking everyone will come and be waiting for you. You know. So that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So thank you very much, sir. I hope that we get to learn this and to change our habit and attitude towards time.
Yes. Thank you.
I really appreciate your coming here to be with us and to join us in this conversation in
You're welcome.
diversity. Yeah, God bless you and stay safe, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's my pleasure, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. We are right in the final session with our final guest. Right with me here, Miss Grace Michael. Very delighted to have you in this conversation, ma. So, Miss Grace Michael, can you please introduce yourself to us? Let's know who you are and what you do.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Grace and Michael, and currently I'm working as an OAP in a radio station, and I'm a graduate of accounting. Yeah, even though they're too diverse career path rather. But yeah, I think that's all for now. Except you want to know something more. That's all for now.
Wow, wow, nice having you here, ma. An accountant who is a voiceover artist, and also you work in a broadcasting station. Like you said, two diverse career paths you're able to cut across.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really find your passion and you're working towards it. I really appreciate that concerning you, ma.
Thank you.
And you are working in a radio station in Enugu State, precisely, right?
Yes.
So, we are talking on the concept of diversity. So, we just listen and hear from your own perspective what diversity is all about and how it has impacted you. Perhaps we can learn from it, and it's going to really affect our relationship with people and our relationship with, how we get to build network and connections in our career. So, like you said, well, let me start with this. Like, you graduated as an accountant, and then what made you, how did you get to see the possibility of you becoming a speaker, a voiceover artist, something that is quite different from what you learned in the university education system? So this is a way of me saying that you embraced diversity in career. So what inspired you and how were you able to do that, man?
So it's quite a lengthy one, but I'll try and make it brief. Okay. Originally, I would say two things fueled me. I would say passion, and I would say talent. Yes. And this should just add to that talent. Also seeing a possibility that I could actually go with these two different narratives also fueled me into this journey, which I've started as an accountant and also a voice-over artist or into the media. While I was growing up, I usually loved mostly arts. Sometimes as young as I was, I would dress myself up, stand in the parlor, and my dad would snap. Or if he's not there, I would just do some poses like all these fashion models, and all those stuff. It started from when I was small. My dad will use the Igbo word. You say that I make gele gele. I can't pronounce that, but I think you should know what I'm talking about. Like I did do this shakara or something. That's how he will say it, and we'll all laugh about it. And yes, entering it forward to secondary school, I joined the press club. I naturally just love talking. I found myself that I love talking. I love reaching out, even if I was 95% very, 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 very shy. Yes, and I still am, although we're crawling out of it though. Yeah, very, very shy. But I just find that when I talk, people just tend to pause and listen. And like, oh wow, I doubt if it was the content of what I was saying at that moment, or because of the voice or how I speak. So I saw the need to, and I loved literature back then. At the same time, I loved accounting. I loved business. I was good in literature, and I was so good in accounting. I don't know if I would say I wasn't guided properly, but I think I'm good where I am now, or what I'm doing, where I am going. I think I'm more appreciative, and I don't think I've chosen a wrong path, because I actually dropped anything literature. I was very good. I will at that tender age. I do write poems, and I still do. I write poems. I write stories. I lost my book, so many things actually killed my passion there. But they didn't really stop me to diversify, because I had that talent. That's why I said passion and talent. Then also saying the possibility. I lost my storybook then. My mom had to buy a big thick cover for me. She was like, "You'll be an author." My dad wanted me to study journalism, but I was scared, because I heard horror stories of journalists who were killed in adventures. So I dissuaded me. I was like, I don't want to die. That young mindset. So my mom literally saw that passion and bought the book, a book where I would write stories. I think I still have them. You know, these kids stories, and also young dramas and play. I still had them. And I love poetry. I just had that passion. When I watch TVs, and I was born into a family where 247 we watch news, is a religious background. So movies were really not my thing, except they were dramas that causes our olden days Nollywood dramas that had little or no spoilers. So that was the only movie that I was allowed to watch, if I must watch one. And that also fueled my passion at that moment. Not denying the fact that I had a hidden talent. So fast forward, when I lost the book, and I was given an award then in secondary school as the best graduate student in accounting, it was like, I think I'm good here. I just told myself, I think I'm good here. I denied the fact. I just really died the passion that yes, I should go for. I had an innate talent in literature, but I also was good in accounting. I also had passion for figures. I love to do data analysis. I love money. Yes, I love, even though people will say I love making financial decisions. I just find myself, I love those things. So I said, okay, fine. I began to think when I was in university, towards my final year. That was when I fully kickstart my career, my interest again. I burned the passion again and the talent into acting or media. I started diversifying. I would take in roles in church dramas, poetry, love to speak. I can listen. Almost my social media, every part of my life had the touch of accounting and media. Everything that has to do with it. My social media and the people I follow, people I talk with, people I just love. If you're good in art, fine. You're good in music, you're good in anything that related to art. I'm like, wow. I was the time I told my sister that I'm going to marry someone the person was learn how to play instrument, person was sing, person must have good artistry. Because once in a while, trust me, we're going to be going out for any public spoken word shows or arts. So this is the art galleries. I got interested in that. Like I said, the passion died, but since it was just it was an inbuilt talent, I had no choice than to diversify. I just had no choice. So I would say what is keeping me on this path and going on is the passion and the talent, and also seeing the possibility, that's what the passion, like seeing the possibility. Even if I said to myself one time that, okay, even if it means me coming on air, being a business reporter, there are people who do give critical business analysis, they are financial reporters. Even if it means me, I could fuse. I just saw the possibility that my both different career paths can be meshed. I saw that possibility that, okay, yes, I can actually be fusing talking and also my career as an accountant. I can fuse them in becoming a financial reporter. So I don't know if I've answered your question.
Wow. Like, you didn't just answer it, you inspired me big time. Like, I've not even started.
Now it feels as if I'm sounding like a motivational speaker.
No, it's not. It's more of like, I've seen something like I can really relate to what you are saying, because I've come to, though you may not know, I've come to observe and study you from far. So like what you just said now, I can really relate to it. You are one of the lead soloists in the national choir of your church, and like whenever you take up a solo in a national program, like someone will literally look back to say, who is singing right away? Who is singing? And that will be you. Like, you have that nice voice. And then talking about your love for maybe modeling, posing, decent and modest photography. I've once photographed you, or rather twice. Twice, right? Twice. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, I can also confirm it that you never gave us stress as a photographer. You never gave me stress in maybe posing and all those stuff. And I really had a hard time selecting the best. Even the one that we weren't prepared for back then. I can remember the headshots we had, but then you weren't prepared for it. I wasn't prepared for it. But then we just hit it with one light setting beam, and it came out. In fact, that's even one of the best that I've taken so far. So yeah, I can relate with these two things. Yes, honestly speaking. So yeah, like you got it. Like, you really traced out your passion. I was even about to tell you that you should consider being a model for maybe modest apparel for ladies, and you are still going to thrive there.
I'll put that in the bag. I'll put that in the bag and in my brain.
Yeah,
Consideration.
because that's what you started it when you asked your father, your dad, from your story right away. Your dad encouraged you, and
I still have the pictures. So
and
funny.
you still retained it like till now. So you can consider it, honestly speaking. And like you said, you're a voiceover artist. You are working in a broadcasting station, and you also diversified, to kind of explore all areas that you are interested in. Your talents as someone, you discovered it that although sometimes when you speak, it may not even be the content of what you've spoken that draws attention, but your voice. And then you notice that you have this fine voice that is good for in the radio station, as a business reporter or whatever. And then you decided to take on this part of being a voiceover artist, which you are doing pretty cool and very well in. And then your passion for figures, your passion for business drove you into accounting, and you're a graduate, and you came out with very powerful grades. Or more, you carry things. I really appreciate this part of you that decided to diversify and to ensure that you don't leave any of your interests to fall. Rather, I see a major now as you've explored the field of accounting and explored the field of voicing, voiceover artist and broadcasting. Now you look forward to merging it to being a business reporter, where your interest in accounting can come together with your interest in speaking, and then make you a better version of yourself. So like, you are very purpose driven, and I see you going places now. So I've learned from that. Like I said, you are in an Igbo land where they speak Igbo, and you know that today we are talking on diversity, how to cut boundaries and relate with people. So you are in an Igbo land in Enugu State where they speak Igbo, but then you don't speak Igbo. kind of referred to it earlier in what you said now, that your dad would kind of tease you with some Igbo words which you can't actually speak out correctly right now. So it paints a picture that although you understand Igbo, right? But then you don't really, you are not fluent in speaking Igbo language the way you are fluent in speaking your own native language. So if I may ask, how are you able to cut across language barrier in your workspace and still build this strong connection that within few months of working with them, you're already one of the lead speakers in their studio? In fact, the reason why you didn't join us in the first session is that you had a speaking engagement and I had to shift my appointment with you to broadcast and to record this version later on. Just right, it's not even up to 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, that you are done with what you went to the broadcasting studio to do. That shows that you are doing well in it. So how have you been able to cut across language barrier in being successful in this your interesting career?
Okay, so especially the language barrier has been an issue and it still is, although I'm gradually coping and trying to speak. I think I said some few words now, even though you may argue that it's not correct, but I'll leave it there. I'm trying. Okay, like I said earlier, I did say that seeing the possibility in your talent is one. That's personal. That's what you should have in your mind first if you must want to cope in a diversified environment, in a diversified space. You should learn to see yourself first as this thing, I can do it. It's something I want to do. It's something I love doing. Say that it's something that can happen. It's a possibility that I can do this. It's possible. There are other persons who are not from, let me take my working space, who are not Igbo, but they came here and they thrive very well. They thrive very well in it. So I can also do it. See that possibility. And next, you should also see yourself first, and the person you're first, and yourself and your interactions first as human. Don't see them in that light of Igbo, tribe, any cultural difference, any religious difference. See them first as human. When I came in here, got to Enugu, I was very scared. One, because I only visit the Igbo land, southeastern part of the country, and stay for 2-3 days, and it's not like I really interact with people. Like I said, I'm a little bit shy, but I was scared that, oh God, am I going to cope with language? Am I going to, I don't understand. And I did not want a situation where somebody will see me as English, there's not even from English girl, she's not British, she's just from me, all this kind of stuff. I didn't want people to see me as that. I want people to see me for who I really was. Someone who is shy and wants to get free. Someone who wants to transition into the other side of the world, not being really an extrovert or an introvert. Someone who wants to blend, who wants to try things, who wants to be diversified. So I first saw them as humans. Like, okay, this is a colleague of mine. I didn't see them as, okay, this is an Igbo man, this is an Igbo woman, this is a Yoruba man. I have a colleague here with Yoruba, and we blend very well. Around the work environment, they usually call us a company. she's in Peace at Ejimo, she's Yoruba, and they usually call us a company P&G. It's that funny. She joined us not quite long, but I was able to blend. That's because I had that mindset of I could do this. There's possibility in blending with people. I saw her first as a human before I saw her as her tribe person. Before I saw her as a Yoruba person. So we first see each other as humans. If you're in a space like, for example, my environment, a media station, a media place, let's see yourself as colleagues who want to thrive in the media industry. Let's see yourself as colleagues who want to learn more, who want to be creative in the media space. So you create that sense of unity. You create a sense of unity and diversity, that despite people of different lifestyle, different religious beliefs, some may be Muslims, some may be Christians, that doesn't interfere with the main goal why you are here. That doesn't interfere with the fact that you are in this media space to grow, to learn, to unlearn, and to make a work environment move forward. So we as human beings should learn to remove that stereotype, cultural background, religious background, racial background, whatever stereotype. We should just learn to delete it from our mind. That's the reason. That's one of the situations Nigeria is in now. We all first put our tribe before we remember first that we are Nigerians. We first of all say, I am Igbo. Instead of saying, I am a Nigerian, you are Nigerian first. Before you are an Igbo man, you're a Yoruba man, you're an Hausa man, or whatever. Or you're Nigerian first before you are Christian, before you are Muslim. You're a Nigerian. Put that in front of you first. When you come to I'm talking as far in a working environment. Learn to see yourself first as human before you can achieve that unity and diversity. When you see yourself as human, you will appreciate the Igbo art, you will appreciate the Benin art, you will appreciate the Yoruba art. When it comes to the North Terracotta, when it comes to the Ife symbol, when it comes to various work of art, you learn to respect it. You learn to admonish the Yoruba woman who dances. You learn to admonish the Igbo woman when she speaks. You don't learn to you learn to desist from making mockery of various people and various tribe accents. You learn to desist from it. So first see yourself as humans created by God. Next to see yourself as if I want to streamline it to Nigeria, next to see yourself as Nigerians. Before you begin to place, I don't even think you need to place those stereotypes or saying you're Igbo, you're this, you're that. No. The purpose of art is to create a blend. Despite there is diversity, there are diverse cultures, there are diverse interpretations of art. There are many ways people would style their clothes. They say, oh, this has a touch of Yoruba. Oh, this has a touch of Hausa. Oh, this has a touch of Igbo. No. I think this one is from Ijo. I don't like it. No. You appreciate the art first. See that, wow, this is another side of art. This Ijo man's dress is another side of art and it's beautiful. You see the Fulani man say, oh wow, I love this touch of art. This is another form. This is another view where you can see art. Oh wow, appreciate it first before we begin to create. Okay, because it is not Yoruba, because it is not Igbo. It's not speaking well. We should first see ourselves as humans. First see ourselves as humans. Interpret whatsoever cultural display, religious display we see first as human, as an outcome of a human effort inspired by God. Before we start seeing it as an outcome of a religious something inspired by one religious thing, cultural belief or lifestyle, or start placing any other stereotypes we can think of. By the time we're able to do so, we'll be able to give respect to those cultural beliefs, to those artistic interpretations. We'll be able to give such nice and absolute respect. There will be no one saying, I don't like this because it's not Yoruba. By the time you appreciate the art for what it is as a new form of art, you appreciate it as art, someone's human effort that was inspired by God, that was inspired by God-given grace. You will not even remember that, oh, this is he's having the Argo print. It's not fine. It's too Igbo-ish. He's having the Yoruba man's way of talking. The point is not. You will not be able to see that if you learn to see it first as a human product inspired by God. You will not be able to kill these differences we have, and also create a unity and diversity. I don't know if I derailed but I'm sure I did derail.
Wow, like you did justice to what I asked you, man. Like I really appreciate your impact and your input in this conversation. See them first as humans. Like one of the things I pointed from what you said That means that in our relationship with people that are different from us, like, making reference to this fashion work though, that we all came from the same background, from the same source as, humans created by God from dust. It still boils down to the fact that human beings originated from the same source, and then bringing it up to what you've said now, see them first as humans. That means that what grounds this all is that we relate with people that are different from us, because diversity, there must be a point where we are different from another person. Even if you have a twin brother, it could be the belief system aspect of diversity, or any aspect of diversity, gender aspect of diversity, language or cultural aspect of diversity. We will keep meeting people and we will not have everything in common with that person. So now, but the way to relate better with people, from what you've said now, is that we should see ourselves first as humans before we then put other secondary things into consideration. And when we do it, it is going to help us in our blend with human beings and in relating with people. We also talked about unity in diversity, not to let our differences, interfere with the main goal of our purpose of meeting. For example, if we've met in a school, our main goal is to learn together and to get educated. If we meet in a working space, our main goal is to bind and to build on the core value of the organization, right? Yes. So we don't let it interfere our diversity, what makes us different. We are not going to let it interfere with the main goal, but rather we should focus on the main goal and then use our differences as a tool for better innovation. When we are now bringing up our different perspectives on how we can tackle this challenge, then you see that diversity will now becomes a positive tool in our hand instead of a negative tear down the organization. Even I don't fear you now, they can't wish the way you get. I never see this kind of thing, I'm telling you. You also talked about the purpose of art. That one, the purpose of art is to create a blend in diversity. And do you know that I've been practicing art for a very long time, but I've not seen this in this perspective before.
I wonder if someone just says, I don't know how to draw. Take all these ancient art forms, sculpture works. What if somebody just pick their various form and shape of eye, pick them, or their shape of face, put them into one collection? Let's see what we're going to get. Those, there were images that had now the Queen Idia of Benin, I think, and of unless not, if you don't want to really go to their sculpture works, let's look at their fashion sense. What if someone just portrays a piece of cloth, him wearing one side of it is Yoruba style, the other side is having the Igbo print, the other side is having the Angola print, the other side is having the how will the cloth be? People will say it's weird fashion, but surely that fashion piece will speak unity, to speak. I don't know if you get to move on.
I get you, seriously. I get you. You are portraying that art can be a unifying force, in diversity, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It has encouraged me. Look at me. I am a black, and I'm African, and I'm proud to be one. God has given it to me as a gift, my identity. I am an Igbo and I am a male. These are factors in diversity. But then, because of my love for arts and in exploring art, I have done an artwork that addresses the female gender, and that is my way of blending myself as a human factor, as a male artist, and I'm blending myself with things that are related to female through art. So what has helped me now to address or to impact or to promote womanhood, if I would say, is art. Art has served as a tool. Now we are talking on the concept of diversity, looking at this fashion work on diversity, and I would say that I am different from many people that have listened or that will still listen to this as talk. But what has made me to blend into their differences it is just this art that I'm using to portray a message. And then they will come, art will draw them to look into the concept. And then at the end of the day, we find that we have unified ourselves and we've come to a better consensus as a result of exploring an artwork. So I really agree with you that the purpose of art, one of the purpose of art is that it blends us even in diversity. So thank you very much, man, for that input.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much. In fact, I had reserved some questions for you, but I just recognize the fact that you are coming from a very hectic, studio section in your broadcasting station, and I don't want to stress you much. That's why I'm not going to bombard you with questions, because I see that God, you have stuff. I mean, you want to escape? No, Mahara. Seriously, thank you very much for being here with me. I really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. God bless you, man.
All right, keep doing the good work. Bye bye.
God will help us. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Wow. Our speakers, they did justice to this concept of diversity. I hope that as we get to listen to what we've discussed here, that is going to help us to, is going to improve our perspective on diversity, and is going to give us a healthy approach towards this subject matter, so that when next we deal with people that are different from us, we are going to treat them fairly, and at the end of the day, we are still going to have that same fair treatment bounced back to us, because I know that human beings will most likely reciprocate the attitude with which you treat them. So thank you very much for listening to this point. Like I will always say, we are going to be bringing up different topics that are tied to some artworks. It could be pencil drawing, it could be a minimalist digital artwork, it could be a fashion work, it could be a photograph, which my humble self have created. Now this channel, we are going to be using it to bring out these works with the concept behind them that are cutting across religion, cutting across the secular world, cutting across the business relationship, and we are going to be learning. So please stay put, join us in this channel. We are going to be bringing more virtual art talks to you. Thank you very much for listening. I remain my humble self, Charles Tangod Nnamdi, an appreciator of arts, someone that is exceptional with arts, skilled in different art forms such as photography, fashion designing, and some traditional arts. I'm grateful to God that He has given me these things, and I'm happy that I'm using it to impart humanity and to communicate ideas and convictions to people. So thank you very much. I appreciate your presence here. God bless you. We'll keep in touch. Bye.